It's the game that matters. It's the game the previous three matches were played for. It's the title clash. Trailblazers and Supernovas will compete for the Women's T20 Challenge 2020, and they are here in different momentum, having different momentum. While Supernovas had a 2-run win that pushed them to the finals, Trailblazers are coming on the back of a loss. On Avnir presents the outside view part by WTF Sports. I have with me Gouher Sultana and Ananya Upendran as we build up to the final. Gouher, different, as we spoke about, different results to come into the final. And remember, Supernovas have a superior record against Trailblazers. They've played just 3. It's a small sample size, but Supernovas have won 2, and Trailblazers have just won 1. So, your first thoughts about where this clash could head towards?
I guess this could be a different result, and Smriti would be happy to lift that trophy today for the first time. I think as far as Supernova is concerned, yes, they've had a successful outing against Trailblazers. I think today, they'll have to really up their game and pull up their socks to, because of the last game, the result, it was just a 2-run victory for the Supernovas. I guess they'll really have to fight out to retain that trophy. And because they were champions last season, I think they'll be a little under pressure, whereas Trailblazers would be, happy to and raring to go and win this for the first time.
Right, as you said, this is the first time Trailblazers have made the finals. Ananya, is that an additional cause for them to be the side under pressure, because Supernovas have been in the finals and done that one twice? They're aiming for a 3-peat. Is the pressure slightly more on Trailblazers?
I don't think so. I mean, at the beginning of this competition, Smriti Mandana had said in the pre-tournament press conference that the first aim was for the team to get into the finals. They ticked that off for the first time, and now I think it's just, it's new territory, and they haven't been there as a team. But those individual players have all experienced different types of finals, whether it's in domestic cricket, international cricket, franchise cricket. So I think I don't think they'll see it as pressure. It's an opportunity to, get a new name on that Women's T20 Challenge trophy, and that's something that they'll definitely be, raring to do. They want to topple Supernovas just as they had in the opening game of last season. So, I'm sure they'll be really excited to get out there and, hopefully win their first trophy.
Let's have a quick glance at the points table as to see how they got there. Remember, it's not wins or losses that separated the two sides, but it was the small column that we often neglect. The NRR, as Gouher says, is not the number that you look for. But we'll talk about Trailblazers a bit first as to how they got here in the finals, the road to finals. And the first clash was kind of a one-sided game. They thrashed Velocity by 9 wickets, having bowled them out for just 47. So, is that a confidence that you can take from, or it's an old game and it's like the night's gone and the topic's closed, Ananya?
Well, I think, most athletes go into the next game with a fresh mindset. Yes, there's probably a bit of confidence that they can carry knowing that they've had success in this tournament. But I think at the end of the day, you go into a new match on 0, whether, you scored 100 in the previous game or, a duck. The next day on the scorecard, you still start at 0. So you don't start at 4 wickets or you don't start at 7. So, I think that they'll go into this with a clean slate, I suppose. And, at the end of the day, like you said at the very beginning, this is the match that matters. Nothing that they did before this really matters. this is the match that they will want to win. So while they can take confidence, I'm sure the likes of Sophie Eccleston, Jhulan Goswami, Rajeshwari Gaikwad, who all bowled well in that opening game, will take a bit of confidence from it. I don't think that that's something that's going to be at the forefront of their mind.
You talk about finals and you simultaneously talk about what a pressure situation that game might be. And the curtain raiser, if we could call the previous game, that was kind of a 2-run loss for Trailblazers. And it was, again, as we said, a pressure situation where they came second. So Gouher, is that something that will be playing on the back of the mind, that they couldn't sort of cross the line in a game that could get tight?
Not really. I think the way they started, the way the Dottin started, and she's had both of them, Smriti and Mandana and Dottin has had starts, though they could not carry the team and get the big scores. But then they lost momentum in the middle. Then Deepti Sharma and Harleen almost getting them that victory. I think they'll probably take the positives from this game, because almost for the batsmen have had starts in that last game against Supernovas, and I think they almost won it. Probably, I don't think that they'll be under any kind of pressure, because the middle order is working for them. Probably they'll go in with confidence and take the positives from the last game, because they still had Jhulan Goswami coming in, who's also known for those pinch hitting, and she can clearly go for the shots and clear the boundary on her day. So probably I think Trailblazers will be confident to go into this game, whether it is defending a total or chasing.
Right. How did Supernovas get to the title clash? Remember, again, it's a chance for them to make it 3-0 as far as Women's T20 Challenge titles are concerned. Let's look at the roads to final. But the first match was not something that they'll remember, because they lost it. And here they are after winning a close encounter against Trailblazers. Again, Supernovas have kind of had two games which went down to the wire, Ananya. So does that keep them in better stead as opposed to Trailblazers?
I mean, I suppose you can say that they've had two pressure games, so their players kind of are, after the break, again used to that pressure cooker situation and being in tight situations. And they will definitely take a lot of confidence, especially someone like Radha Yadav, getting out of that pressure situation and finishing on the winning side. So that's probably something that holds them in good stead. The players kind of know that they have the ability to deal with that kind of pressure. But I don't think they've yet played a very good game. In both games, got off to a very good start with that. They weren't able to capitalize towards the end, losing a clump of wickets. I think they lost 5 wickets in both games towards the end. And so that's something I think they'll be hoping that the middle order fires in this game. They've been heavily reliant on Chamari Attapattu and Harmanpreet Kaur. So they'll definitely be hoping that middle order and lower middle order comes good today, because I think if it doesn't, it's going to put a lot of pressure on their bowlers again. And we've seen their bowlers kind of misfire, between that 7 to 15 over mark. They kind of lose their way a little bit. So I think if, whether the final brings a complete game for them is going to be, something, because they haven't yet played a complete game. Whereas I suppose you can say Trailblazers kind of have, the first game was like a very, very good one for them. So I'm hoping that they don't, but I think, maybe Supernovas are hoping that this is that game for them.
Gouher, let's come to you and your department, the left-arm spin. Radha Yadav was as impressive as a youngster can be, bowling that last over in a pressure situation in the last match. 10 to defend, she just gave away, seven odd runs. What facet of her play that day impressed you most? Because we always talk about the dew factor being present in the second innings while bowling, and we've heard spinners often find it tough to grip the ball when it's wet. So what facet of her game, especially that over, is something? What was that impressed you?
I guess the best thing about Radha Yadav is that she's a very confident youngster. I mean, she likes these moments where there's pressure and she wants to come good. She wants the captain to give her the ball, or she wants to be in the light and be in the center there and perform for her team. So and that's what she's done in the last game, and that's what she did in the last season where she scored that boundary. I guess the most important thing about her is, though she's not been, the way she would have liked to bowl. Maybe she's like Ananya said, they're losing that momentum in the middle overs, but to come back and bowl at last over under a lot of pressure only speaks about how confident she is about her skills. And she's a pretty aggressive player, and that's what is needed when you're a youngster. You need that energy. You need to show your captain that how confident you are and give you the ball. And the fact that Harman chose her over Poonam Yadav, a very experienced campaigner, speaks a lot about her character.
Interesting you brought about Poonam Yadav's name, because my next question to you is what will be the mindset of Poonam Yadav as someone who's a kind of a mainstream leg spinner? Your captain didn't kind of have the confidence to give you the ball in the first 15, 16 overs, gave you the ball towards the end, and you gave away 11 runs. So what would her mindset be? Would she be low on confidence, or as an experienced campaigner, how do you read this entire situation?
Yeah, I mean, yes, it's a pressure game, but Poonam Yadav is kind of a bowler who's, got them results, given them breakthroughs when, team was not doing really well. And she's got that experience, she's got those variations and the pace that she bowls at. I think it is going to be a positive this for her. It is going to definitely help her. I mean, I think Poonam Yadav should be used the way she's been, like bowling after the power play immediately, maybe seventh or eighth over, when she has a thing of four fielders outside. That's how I mean, the kind of bowler she is. She likes to toss the ball up. She bowls her googlies very well, and I think today she's going to be very effective because it is a final game, and she'll be ready to go. Because looking at the two games that is bowled in, then she wouldn't be as happy as she would have liked to be with her bowling. I think she'll be raring to go today and use all experience against Trailblazers.
Ananya, would Poonam be hurting? Because we've always, I mean, over the last 3 days also, we've talked about how conducive the conditions are, relatively, even if so, towards spinners, and the number of spacers also highlights this fact. And despite all these factors, she got very little to bowl.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll be, hurting a little bit. I'm sure there were questions in her head as to why she wasn't getting the ball, in that game. But she is a professional. I'm sure she's faced setbacks before in her career, and she will know how to deal with it. So I think it's going to be interesting how she comes out, because I think, first of all, for me, the decision was slightly strange, considering there may have been two left-handers, but she has a very good googly. So it was a strange decision, but I'm sure she's gone back, kind of thought about it. They had a practice session yesterday as well, and I'm sure she's figured out what her plans are going to be coming out today. She has won many games for India. She's a senior bowler. She's their strike bowler. So hopefully she gets a fair go today. Bowls in situations that she has bowled for India. She has bowled for Railways and Uttar Pradesh through her career. So she'll be hurting, but I think she'll use that to her advantage today and hopefully come up trumps for them.
There are, as the women's T20 challenge has progressed, there have been endless voices calling for a separate women's IPL. Whether or not that will see the daylight is something to be seen. But at the moment, two matches are in favor of Supernovas, one against Trailblazers. Whether this entire kind of competition, the Supernovas, Velocity, and the Trailblazers comes to a close with a series leveling win or not, we'll find out in a bit. But what are the before the toss? Let's quickly decide on what are the possible changes each of you sees. Gouher, you first.
Probably Trailblazers would want to go have an extra batsman. Maybe Hemlata Dayalan would make a place for Anusat Parveen in the 11 because they want that middle order to, be little strong. And then Supernovas, I guess, I always say that, I don't think they'll be making any kind of changes because for their winning combination. But I think probably for me, they could probably Priya Punya can make place for Pooja Vastrakar because as I always said, Supernovas. If you get Chamaria Tapatware, I think they'll be under a lot of pressure because she's had an incredible run in these two games. She's been attacking bowlers all over the park, and then there's only Harman who's got scores in the last two games. I think probably if they can have Jemima Rodriguez open the end for Atapattu, then Priya Punya can make way for Pooja Vastrakar to strengthen their middle order.
Of course, Supernovas have won the toss and decided to bowl first. Ananya, your thoughts about this decision? Would you have wanted Supernovas to bat first, or the captain winning the toss to bat first?
Well, we've seen in all of these games that the teams chasing have won or got very close. In the last game, we saw how Trailblazers were able to make up in those last few overs. So I think there's a pattern here, and maybe that due means that the ball is skidding on a little more, that the surface is getting a little better, under light. So maybe that's the reason. And in both their games, Supernovas have batted first. They've put their bowlers under immense pressure towards the back end. So maybe they're trying to, or they feel like they're batting, and the way Chamaria Tapattu is batting will give them, maybe they're just hoping that Chamaria Tapattu will come good in the chase and they'll be able to chase down whatever their bowlers can keep. But I think they've just looked at the pattern, the way the games have gone, and the teams chasing have looked, in more control.
Gouher, the stage seems set for a three-peat for Supernovas, isn't it? They are chasing. Harmanpreet Kaur likes chasing. What's your thought about this? Supernovas bowling first, because last time, of course, they won the toss and elected to bat. So your thoughts on this decision, and do you think the stage is actually set for Supernovas victory?
Yeah, as far as Harman is concerned, I mean, as you said, she likes getting scores under pressure, getting big scores under pressure when the chips are down, and she's that kind of a player. When she's in the middle, she can hammer any bowling attack. So I think she'll be raring to go. And today, I think it's a day where she scored her international century. I think that she'll take that. She'll definitely have that in her mind. And I think if luck is on her side, it could be another day where she hammers all the bowlers and get a win for her team and lift that trophy again.
She backs her to lift the trophy, does Gouher. But Ananya, we've seen about cricket being a game that's fought on the field, but there are also tactical matchups, isn't it? So is this a move to kind of deny Trailblazers spinners the purchase or whatever little they might be? Because can't hear.
Sorry. Yeah, my bad. But yeah, I think if you look at that Trailblazers bowling side, while they have some high quality spinners in Sophia Eccleston, Salma Khatun, and of course Deepti Sharma, but I don't think one they don't have a leg spinner who is going to really be troubled by maybe a wet ball. I think Salma Khatun is more someone who tends to drift the ball away. She doesn't really use her fingers too much to generate turns. So I don't think that the spinners are going to be too worried by the due. So I think it's more a case of, while we can think of it as that they want to take that advantage away from the spinners, I think it's more a case of, their bowlers have been put under pressure, having to bowl, in slightly wetter conditions, and they just don't want their bowlers to have to, face that pressure again.
It will load the teams in a bit, but one thing's for sure: Trailblazers batters will walk out to open. Do you sense there will be a change in opening combination, Ananya, there for Trailblazers?
I think so. I mean, what we understand is probably that Priya Punia is not playing. I'm not entirely sure yet, but I think Priya Punia is not playing. So I think that, if she's not playing, that means that we're going to see a change at the top. And, whether that's Jemimah Rodriguez, whether that is Tanya Bhatia, that's going to be the question. Or, whether Harmanpreet Kaur completely goes left field and sends Pooja Vastrakar to just go, hammer and tongs in the first six. But there's definitely going to be a change. Who that is going to be the question.
There, of course, Ananya spoke about Supernovas. Trailblazers, Smriti and Deandra Doughton are set to open. Do you think, Gouher, or do you say a change? Because we saw Doughton come to colours with her knock in the last match, though it was kind of cut short by a LBW call that perhaps would have saved her had she reviewed. So do you see a change there? We've always talked about where is Natakkan Chantam. She's hidden somewhere in the middle order. So do you see a change, or it's a case of what's working for them?
No, I don't really think they want to go in with a new opener, especially Chantam. I think they'll be going with Smriti Mandana and Deandra Doughton, and they obviously looked pretty confident, especially Doughton going going for those sixes and using a power and scoring those runs. Unfortunately, she could not stay long, and because of that decision. I think Smriti Mandana will be raring to go, and so big today because she's a kind of player who doesn't want to sit out in the dugout and cheer for other batsmen. I think she likes to stay in the middle there and go after the bowlers. And she has all the shots in the book. So I think probably they'll be going with Doughton and Smriti Mandana to open for Trailblazers.
All right, let's look at the Supernovas playing 11. The one change that has been confirmed is Priya Punia is out. Pooja Vastrakar comes in. But that also bolsters their bowling, isn't it, Ananya? Remember, they're bowling first. So do you see Pooja Vastrakar get an over in this game?
I hope so. I mean, she didn't bowl at all in the first game, so I hope she gets at least one over. But I don't think that Harmanpreet Kaur is looking at her as an all-round option. I think she's looking at her as someone who's going to come and provide power in the lower middle order. So I hope she gets an over. But I think that they've kind of sorted out who the new ball combinations. I think Anuja Patil in the previous game bowled really well, and I think with Smriti Mandana there. I hope Shashikala gets the new ball, but I think Anuja is kind of the bowler that Harman is going to turn to with the new ball, alongside probably Ayabonga Kaka, who has taken wickets with that new ball. So, for Pooja to get an over or even two, I think someone like Shakira Selman will have to have a really bad day. And even then, you have Chamari and Harman herself. So, I think she doesn't have too much confidence in Pooja the bowler, but if there's space and bounce in the wicket somehow, maybe we'll see her get a go.
Right, the Supernovas. The batting lineup of Supernovas is something that interests me, and I think you two might also agree, because from day one we've been talking about who'll bat where, and this lineup shows that Jemimah is slated to open with Chamari. We'll see whether that so happens or not. We'll see in the second innings. But Gouher, your thoughts, because this looks like a lengthy lineup, but as you mentioned, one Chamari Attapattu gone, then it's kind of wobbly batting lineup. So is this a better looking lineup, you think, for them?
Yeah, definitely. This is a very interesting move. I mean, I had this in my mind, and obviously we just spoke about it. Jemima Rodriguez have opened in the, in the past for India. I think the way she's batted in the thing, she looked a bit, in a hurry. I think now she'll probably have Chamari Attapattu at the other end. So all she has to do is settle her eye in, give that single to Chamari Attapattu, and let her continue the way she's done in the past two games. I think this will probably give Jamima Rodriguez time to settle down, and once she's settled in, we all know that the kind of player she is. She's got all the shots in the book. She can play those sweep shots well. Though she's got a bit in the past, but I think she'll back herself, and she's a confident cricketer, and she's quick running in between. So I think probably this will help Supernovas to start off pretty well, and give them a total to defend, a good total to defend, and a good platform for Harmanpreet Kaur to Harmanpreet Kaur or Pooja Vastrikar or the other batsmen coming in and use their power hits to get Supernovas to a very good score to defend.
Supernova's bowling has been under the scanner, because in the first match they gave away 50 odd runs during the chase, and even the second match almost lost it in the last 5 overs. So, and that could probably be because of their seam bowling attack, you think, Ananya? Because Ayabonga Khaka and Shakira Selman, two frontline pacers, two overseas frontline pacers, if I may so say. And this is one lineup where there are two pacers, two seamers from outside India. Whereas if you see a Trailblazers, there's just a Julian as a recognized name. DeAndre Doughton, of course, has begun bowling just a while ago. But the pace department, is that a worry that they haven't performed to potential, or that you can't really say much about the seam department here?
Well, I think they haven't bowled as well as they would have liked. I think they've shown glimpses of what they're capable of. But I think the other thing is, when you look at someone like Ayabonga Khaka, she always goes behind the likes of Kaap and Ismail for South Africa. She's always coming in after the power play, or after 10 or 12 overs in ODIs as well. So she's constantly bowling one or two change. So I think getting the new ball for her, one is, I'm sure she's done it through her career for other sides, but I think it's not a position that we've seen her in on the international stage. Whereas we've often seen someone like Shakira Selman take the new ball for West Indies. So I think that interchanging of roles is a bit interesting, because I remember Ayabonga Khaka coming to India, and she was lethal in that middle and towards the death. She was brilliant with her Yorkers, and of course these women are coming in after 7 months of not playing much competitive cricket. So I think it's just that interchanging of roles, and I'm interested to see or understand why someone like Ayabonga Khaka, she has been bowling very well and swinging that new ball prodigiously, something that we haven't seen with any of the other pacers. But why they've chosen her to take the new ball instead of someone like Selman, who we know is a genuine swing bowler, swings the ball away from the right-handers, and I suppose taken Ayabonga Khaka out of that comfort zone of having a ball that doesn't move as much. So her lines are much tighter, and she can bowl stump to stump because the ball is not swinging as much, whereas here she has to adjust those lines. So I think it's probably, it's a very minor detail, but it's a detail that, it changes your line of attack from, say, fourth or fifth stump to off stump, and that's a big thing for a bowler. It's probably a matter of centimeters, but it's a big thing. So I think it's just that the understanding of roles and who to use where. They've done that very well with someone like Anuja Patil, and I think the pacers not doing as well, or not being able to close out the innings, has meant that someone like Radha Yadav has had to probably they've had to hold back her overs and force her to close out the innings. So I think that because they haven't I suppose have had enough time to kind of figure out who fits what role. I think that's what meant that they've been leaking runs towards the end.
Fair point. It hasn't yet been a habit to continuously run in and bowl those overs. Let's look at Trailblazers now. There's just one change, as we said. Dayalan Hemalata makes way for Nusrat Parveen. Gouher, do you see her taking the gloves, or you still look at Richa getting a longer go with the gloves?
No, I definitely think Nusrat should get the gloves. Probably because she's been there in the team as a main wicket keeper. Richa, of course, for the team combination, she's been given the gloves. But I think you can just give her the gloves and let Richa field. She's got Richa Ghosh has got say pair of hands. She's got a very good arm, so I think they can use her on the boundary line and give Nusrat Parveen, her role to play. And then I think this change has also got them, the middle order, stronger.
It's a different kind of an match environment for Trailblazers. Isn't it? They've played two matches, they've chased in both, and now it's kind of their batters have to set the tone for the rest of the match, be it a close one or a one-sided one. So does that put additional pressure on their batters, you think, Gouher?
Well, not really. I mean, as I said, the way they've played in both the games, I think all the batsmen, whoever walked in, has had starts. I wouldn't say long innings or very good innings, but they've had starts. They've had good starts. All the batsmen. So I think even for that matter, when Richa walked in the first game, she had very little, to do. She's shown those, shots and the spark that she has in her batting. I think all of them, even Harleen, the way she surprised all of us with her, with her strike rate especially. We know the kind of batsman she is, and she's done well in the last season, getting a couple of scores. But the way she played in the last game, I think that will give her a lot of confidence to continue the way she's done. And if you talk about Deepti Sharma, I think she's had a patient innings, and Harleen playing that kind of innings with that kind of strike rate has definitely helped Deepti Sharma to go for those shots later on in the innings, the way that she played. So I think probably there'll be a confident batting lineup to go in and go big.
We all like to prolong the things that we like to do, isn't it? Be it eating that last part of chocolate in a cone ice cream, for that matter. And these players like playing. And just a couple of days ago, we came to know that India's proposed series to Sri Lanka has been called off because of the rising cases in Sri Lanka. So nobody really knows when these Indian players will be back in action next. And Ananya, in this backdrop, as a batter, say when Smriti Mandana comes out to bat, when Richa might come out to bat, is there a kind of, will there be in a state of quandary as to whether we actually go for shots, quick innings, or do we kind of try and take more balls, face more balls, try to get it off the middle of the match? Is that a ambiguity there?
I don't think so. I mean, once you're in match mode, all that is kind of wiped from your mind. You're there, you're playing in the center, and all those. When we'll play next is not a question you're asking yourself when you're in the center. It's probably something that happens after the game. So I don't think they'll be too worried about that while they're playing the game. But obviously, once the game is done, it's going to be a question that they're all asking themselves. But both the batters you mentioned are naturally attacking players. They like to play their shots. They like to dominate. So I don't think they'll ever give the bowlers a chance unless, they're bowling particularly well to settle down. They'll want to, go out there and hit those boundaries and make sure that their team is on top. The thing about these young Indian batters is the fact that they like to take the game on. They want to put the bowlers off. They want to put their team in winning position. And I think Trailblazers will be hoping that Dottin and Mandana, whether this is, the last game for a long time, that both of them will stay out there for as long as possible. And if they stay out there for as long as possible, Trailblazers are going to be in a very dominant position.
Deandra Doughton, of course, had proclaimed before the competition that she wants to be the first to hit a century in this Women's T20 Challenge. Gouher, looking at the previous match where the track was really good for both sides of the innings, it wasn't sort of hard or very tough to play strokes. Do you think that the 100-run target, or even half of that, becoming true today?
Yeah, probably yes. She will definitely want to, if not the century, she should definitely want to go for that, good score that will help her team to, have a good score on the board. But yeah, as you said about the wicket, I think it doesn't look like it's really tough to, go out there and score, like play your shots. And it's I think equal on for both the bowlers and batsmen. It's working well. I think probably Doughton would, the way she's played in the last game, probably she wants to, go out there and play the same way. And when she has Smriti Mandan on the other end, I think she really doesn't have to worry. I think she'll play her natural game and go for that score, being its last chance in this tournament.
Right, and like magnets attract some metals, our eyes move towards where and what Nataktan Chantam, the Thailand player, is doing, isn't it, Ananya? She's not getting a chance with the bat. Most of the Trailblazers batters aren't, for that matter. But she proved herself in the field the other day, isn't it? Chased one from shot third man to field it, and that resulted in Shashikala Sirivardhane's run out as well. So, talking about a player who's kind of who's an overseas player, and she's not getting to do what her primary role is. In fact, that is her only role in the team, to bat. So what must she be going through? And of course, she might be hungry, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, having seen or observed Natakan Chantam last year, what I understand is that whatever she does, she puts her heart and her soul into it. She makes sure that, whether if she's not able to contribute with the bat, that she's doing something in the field, whether that's, diving and sliding around and saving runs, or whether that's just egging the bowlers on. She's always someone who constantly wants to be involved in the game, wants to learn. And, I think while it's difficult to think of her batting higher up, considering the success of someone like Harleen Deol and, Deepti Sharma in that middle order, I think that she'll just try her best to contribute in any way she can, and in the field, helping the bowlers out, whether that's taking the cap from the bowler and giving it to someone else, or she's trying to make those little contributions. And like we said at the very beginning, this is a tournament that will allow her to learn and grow and develop as a player, and I think that's how she's seeing it.
Right, we can see Smriti Mandhana and Deandra Doughton padded up and set to open. Let's take some questions before we close this show with some predictions. So let's see what have you people asked us. Sumed Naik has been with us, and he asks, now that Trailblazers will bat first for the first time, how crucial is that one of Doughton or Mandhana to stay for long, and what could be the ideal score? Ananya, you'd like to take this?
Yeah, well, like we said earlier, I think that partnership is very, very crucial for them. It's probably the two biggest names in the side. They're the two batters who, Supernovas will want to get out, and they're the two batters that Trailblazers will hope that, both of them are able to spend as much time as possible in the middle. I think, if they give themselves a bit of time, settle down. We saw Doughton, go out all guns blazing in the previous game, and hopefully Smriti finds her timing today. And if they're able to bat out maybe 8 to 10 overs, I think they'll put Trailblazers in charge of the game. And they'll set a good platform, because everyone knows that Deandra Doughton is going to go at a strike rate of at least 130. So if she gets going, and if she wants to get her 100, then hopefully she lays a platform for the likes of Harleen Deol, hopefully Natakan Chantam and Deepti Sharma to come out, Jhulan Goswami to come out and just play, little cameos. And I think they'll be looking for a target around the range of 150, 160, because we saw that 140, being challenged. So I think they'll be looking for that 150, 160, and if one of them gets going, they'll get there. But I think that's going to be a key partnership for sure.
Key partnership it is, 150 to 160, says Ananya. Let's move on to the next one. It seems like Harmanpreet Kaur took our advice seriously by bringing Pooja in place of Priya Punia. You never know. Gouher, did you kind of send a secret message or something to her about
I wish I could have. But then, yeah, it feels good to see Harman, trying out things and giving another opportunity to Vastrakar, because it was harsh for Pooja Vastrakar to, get dropped playing this one game, coming out of a long break. I guess probably should be. What I would like Pooja Vastrakar to do is, settle there for a couple of overs. I mean, like, not couple of overs, that would be too much, but at least a few balls to see how the wicket is doing, and then go for her strokes, because she is a kind of batsman, who's there. If she's there there in the middle, I think she'll be doing a great job in that middle order, because she's got that power. She's swift between wickets. She can convert those singles into twos, or those twos into threes. So she's going to be very effective if she, gives herself that much, that little time to have her eye in, feel the wicket, and then go for her strokes and back herself up.
Interesting where she bats. One more question is what we have is Ayyappa Das asks who will win today. Any predictions? We'll get on to the predictions. That is an invisible hat that we're roaming around in our virtual studio. First on Gouher, your prediction for this innings, your star with the bat and with the ball.
For Trailblazers, I think I'm going with Smriti Mandhana today. I think as a captain, sorry, as a captain. I mean, as a captain, she she would want to, go in and score those runs, and get that victory, and lift that trophy for her team. So I'm backing Smriti Mandhana as a batter, and bowler. I think it's going to be Poonam Yadav today. Because of the way she's bowled in the last two games, I think she'll want to better that and get a couple of wickets for Supernovas.
Coming to you, Ananya, let's hope that Gouher, your cuffs weren't a sign of how Smriti is going to bat today with some hiccups. But your predictions, Ananya?
I'm going to go with Deandra Dawson with the bat, and with the ball, I am going to go with the old horse, Shashikala Sirivardhana.
Both have gone with spinners. Both have gone with the openers. Let's see what happens. We'll catch you in the mid-innings break on Avnir Presents, the Outside View, powered by WTF Sports.